welcome to the ring at this time, Manny Smith.
Welcome to another episode of Devotion Championship Wrestling. This is Wrestling at the Gateway, and I'm your host, Lauren Gardner, calling the action tonight. As we just heard our ring announcer, JV Vernola, announce Manny Smith coming out to the ring, vesting new gear, but holding in his hand the vestiges of what was Manny Lemons. Of course, last time we saw Manny, he went up against Leo Wolf, and on the line was his identity as the king of the lemonade stand. As always, it's a treat to have Manny Lemons back here in Salt Lake City, as both he and Reka Tejaka are training full-time in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, I'm sure you've seen his posts, if not seen him in action with Lariotto Pro, among other East Coast promotions.
I forgot to bring the microphone out. I was just so damn excited to see all of you tonight. Could you believe that 1 year ago to the date, we were here all at the Gateway for DCW Fallout, just the first show after the pandemic hit? For 1 damn year, every single one of you believed in this vision. You believed in this product, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much.
And we must say thank you, Manny Lemons, for keeping things going.
But it's now it is time to get down to business. I haven't seen you since the pandemic, son. That's where the $1 million question comes into play. Why am I no longer Manny Lemons? Trust me, as fun as Manny Lemons was, and it still is to do, it is time to shoot for the moon. After multiple conversations, I was just told the most powerful thing in this world you could be in yourself. So here tonight in front of you, I put the lemonade stand to rest forever. But that starts a new era for DCW, is that the Manny Smith era is now. And Manny Smith is looking to the future of Devotion Championship Wrestling. So I'm gonna ask anyone in the back, who in the hell thinks they're the future of this company?
The desire, the dream, the legend, Manny Smith, asking anyone to step up.
Indeed.
Of course. Of course.
Isn't that funny, Manny? That you shut up. Boo me. Boo me. Boo me all you want. Manny, you know. I can wait here all night.
He's wearing Mickey Mouse's gloves.
See, that's your problem, Manny. Any opportunity to shut me down, you've taken it. Whether it be when I first started as just Bonesaw, whether it was sticking me with Glade and making me feud and fight with that oversized idiot for over 2 years. I made your stars. I made this company. And now, you want to say who's the future? It's me. It should have always been me, you pathetic meat sack.
William Cutting, a man who might be small in stature, he makes up for it in his cutting and deviousness. But Buf-Rek-Man and Tejaka coming to get Manny's back. And like a bunch of cockroaches, scurry off the butcher shop. Also training full-time in Georgia, Brett Buf-Rek-Man has definitely built a bond with Manny Smith.
Butcher Blade, Butcher Shop, whatever the hell your name is. I see 3 of you, and I see 3 of us. So tonight, we're fighting!
Bringing the intensity and hype as always, Buf-Rek-Man opens the call.
Deal. Fights on! The Butcher Shop versus whatever the hell you call you three.
One hell of a way to start off tonight's episode. Rekka wanting to get things started early, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, we have for you tonight a title defense on the line as Misi the Tongan Lion takes on DK Vandue, a newcomer to the DCW locker room. And I'm getting the nod from management. This has been made official tonight in our main event. The team of Buf-Rek-Man will be going up against the Butcher Shop. Let's check in backstage with newcomer DK Vandue as he prepares for his chance at the Core Championship.
For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is DK Vandue. You see, I come from a city where many guys make it to the top, but falls. I don't want to continue that curse. I want to break that curse. And Misi, you're gonna be my competition right here for the Core Championship. You got the size, you got the background, you got the rugby background, the MMA background, etc., etc. But I hear that you have a kid on the way with the wife you just recently married, I believe. At the end of the match, I'm just gonna say this, the Core Champion is coming with me. And your wife will see what a real man will look like. Vandue!
You know, I woke up this morning, I was excited, I was ready to come here to DCW and go against DK from Atlanta. You know, it's gonna be a great match. And you know what? Then I come into the locker room and then I hear from everybody that you was talking crap, talking a lot of trash. How the hell are you gonna come into my house, to my pride, and talk about my wife, the queen of the pride? You're a disrespect. You know what? No. Tonight, I'm gonna show you how disrespectful you are, because I will humble your ass. And then at the end of the day, I will send you back to Atlanta, and I'll still be the DCW Core Champ. And guess what? They left. You might ask who? The people that gave a damn about your ass.
Misi defends the Core title coming up next.
The following contest is set for one fall. And is for the DCW Core Championship. Introducing first the challenger from Capitol Hill, weighing in at 200 pounds, DK Vandue.
Extremely inflammatory comments made by Vandue prior to our commercial break. I think he may have to cash that check that his mouth has written off. DK Vandue, a former NCAA tennis player. He is a traditional athlete, and I think you will see that tonight in the ring, taking on a lot of traditional wrestling and grappling moves. DK Vandue coming out. I don't know what happened backstage, but he seems to be nursing a swollen lip of sorts. Having words with our official, Sean Bertown. I doubt Sean is going to give him any slack if he wants to compete in this title bout.
And his opponent from the Isle of Tonga, weighing 280 pounds, he is the reigning and defending DCW Core Champion, the King of the Pride, the Tongan Lion, Misi!
I've said this before, folks, since his debut here at DCW, I have not quite ever seen a wrestler gain over an audience so quickly, but the devoted faithful absolutely love this man. And I'll tell you what, there is a lot to love. He seems to be the total package: strength, stamina, speed, and a growing knowledge of combat in the squared circle. He is one to keep an eye on, folks. Moving and shaking, he is rising the ranks. Doing so, holding the core title around his waist. As Sean Bertow, oh, come on now, DK. The devoted faithful not happy with his actions. His actions fitting, of course, as he comes from Capitol Hill. Misi marking his territory here at DCW. It's part of his pride. And I'm sure DK is, over-exaggerating just to make himself stand out. Well, that's a piss-poor way to do it. Sean Bertow calls for the bell. It is sounded, and this match is underway. On the line, the core title. Into a collar and elbow tie-up go our athletes. DK able to reverse now into a wrist lock. Misi does his own to do the same. Misi up and over, and takes over with an arm drag. DK not once but twice, slamming him right into the L4. Now with a stiff boot to the solar plex, goes for the cover two. DK kicks out at 2. And no doubt, Misi wanting to put an end to this as quickly as possible. Wanting to make a statement to anyone else that might be wanting to take a shortcut to being remembered via Misi's title. DK now putting Misi through the ropes. Oh, gosh. On the release, pulling Misi right into the top rope across his throat. And adding insult to injury, using that towel for which he was nursing his lip earlier as a weapon to choke Misi. But he does release and goes right into a backpack scissor lock. Again, this is the athleticism that I was talking about earlier that we can expect from DK. We see this a lot. Anyone coming in from an organized sport that has that athleticism, it usually transitions very well into professional wrestling, and DK proving to be no exception in getting a jump start transferring in from another sport. Slamming Misi's head into the turnbuckle. DK doing very well for himself thus far, despite having a weight and reach disadvantage in this bout. Goes for a suplex, it's blocked, and Misi is able to reverse it into a suplex of his own, having already felt many offensive shortcuts from DK. Misi not quick to rise to his feet. A little info I do have on Vandue, that being that he is a polyglot. No, that's not. I know what you're thinking. No, that's not what it is. He's quadrilingual, and I don't care what language you use. A lariat and a diving shoulder tackle from Misi translates into pain. He's not finished yet. Another lariat into the turnbuckle, and now a shoulder sled allows Misi to put on a front face lock into a suplex, and a devastated Vandue lay on his back while Misi crawls into position 2. And Vandue continues on in this bout. Misi looking and waiting, stalking Vandue, ready to deliver the paws of the lion. Goes for it, but Vandue scouts it out. Vandue now capitalizing on the situation, looking for a leg crab, but Misi counters into an inside cradle. Vandue able to get out fresh and ready to go into a rear waist lock, reversed by Misi. Now a back elbow from Vandue. Off the ropes comes Vandue for a cross body, but caught by the Tongan Lion and put back down into the mat. But the core champion is still waiting, still looking to make an example of Vandue. With the Kaila warning, the paws of the lion. Now Misi goes for the cover. 1, 2, and that's it, folks. Mr. Vandue, welcome to Misi's Pride.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and still DCW Core Champion, the King of the Pride, the Tongan Lion, Misi!
Congratulations to the reigning Core Champion. Folks, don't go anywhere. We've got more action coming up. It's our main event. Team Buf-Rek-Man and the Butcher Shop in a 6-man tag team match.
When anybody preaches disunity, you know that person seeks to rob us of our freedom and destroy our very lives.
America is many things to many people. Working together to produce spiritual values for all. That is the secret of American prosperity.
Welcome back, folks. We sure do appreciate you choosing to spend your time with us here at Devotion Championship Wrestling. Lauren Gardner, the Cicerone, ready to call this last match for the evening.
The following match is a 6-person tag team contest.
Now, this is a traditional 6-man tag team match, not a tornado match. So for opponents, oh my, right off the bat, both teams rush into it head first. Our official for this match, referee Chris Harmon, is called for the bell. So this is all sanctioned. Out of the ring goes Mr. Lucas, and cutting. Tehaka puts Steele down with a stiff leg kick. Now off the ropes goes Rekka into the baseball slide drop kick. And the entirety of the Butcher Shop is outside the ring. In pursuit is Buff-Shay with an off the apron double axe handle chop. Manny Smith comes in behind Buff-Shay with a cannonball. Good night. And now the Polynesian Savage herself, Rekka Tehaka, ascends to the top turnbuckle. Butcher Shop, watch out, because incoming, Tehaka takes out the whole bunch. And referee Chris Harmon doing his best to get things started. But I tell you what, the team of DCW Originals training in Georgia have brought their A-game today. In the ring goes Buff-Shay and Cutting. Cutting rushes in and is taken over by Brett Buff-Shay. Official Chris Harmon is signaling that these two are the sanctioned men in the ring to start this bout out. Buff-Shay looking to finish things right off the bat, but Cutting puts a stop to it. Buff-Shay looking to pull Cutting up, looking for a front face-lock, but Cutting comes back with a barrage of shots to the face, and now he's got the Butcher's hooks in deep. A referee giving a count. Cutting sits out and drops Buff-Shay, goes for the cover. Buff-Shay kicks out at 2. This match continues, and so too does the offensive barrage that Cutting is bringing in on Buff-Shay. Now stomping a hole through the chest of Buff-Shay. Oh, come on now. A springboard double stomp right into his heart. Not finished yet. Buff-Shay looking to make a comeback to no avail thus far, as it has been all Cutting talking trash as he throws them into their own corner, tags in the formidable Steele, and she is ready to take her turn with Buff-Shay. Gets a running start and lariats the Prince of Pump right into the turnbuckle. Ring General Cutting directing Mr. Lucas to tag in. He does, taking over for Steele. And while we have only seen Lucas in action a few times, every time we've seen him, it has been frightening. The man is vicious and a powerhouse of the likes I don't think anyone on the roster can contend with. Buff-Shay, who is trying to escape the grasp of the vicious brawler and strongman Lucas. Our official giving, oh, come on now. And I tell you what, folks, Chris Harmon is about as good as they get, and he, for one, sees just about everything, including the ruses and cheating attempts by the Butcher Shop. Buff-Shay and Lucas now grappling for an advantage in the ring. It looks like Mr. Lucas comes out on top. In this case, with a couple of shots to the breadbasket now, whips Buff-Shay off the ropes and puts Buff-Shay right back down into the mat with a massive clothesline. Hooks the leg, goes for the cover. Brett Buff-Shay kicks out, and his team stays alive. But for how much longer Buff-Shay has been in this bout? Since the beginning. He needs a tag, and he needs it in a bad way. In comes Cutting again with an open hand chop to the left cheek of Buff-Shay. Jumps in with a knee to the gut. Snapmare brings over Buff-Shay, and Cutting comes off the ropes with a sliding lariat to the throat. Goes for the cover. Buff-Shay still able to get a shoulder up. Oh, and look at that, a barbed wire crossface from Cutting. It's totally legal, but it is not honorable in the least bit. The devoted faithful rallying around Buff-Shay. Cutting doing his best to cut him off and keep him in his own corner. A beautiful double leg takedown by Cutting keeps Buff-Shay from riding that momentum that was started by the devoted faithful. And I tell you what, folks, Brett Buff-Shay is in a bad place. The center of the ring, in the grasp of one of the most cunning and devious men on the roster. But with the help of the devoted faithful rising to his feet, Cutting, realizing the strength that Buff-Shay has, putting the back of Cutting into the mat with a Bret Hart-esque Russian leg sweep. Look at that. Buff-Shay totally discombobulated, reaching up for the long corner for a tag. Cutting cuts him off. Looks to stomp his hand a second time, but having been stalled a bit by the referee, it gives Buff-Shay a chance to momentarily escape, but that moment is over. Tag is made to Steel. She comes in and now rains down on Brett Buff-Shay into a sleeper hold. I tell you what, this rear naked choke could be it. Buff-Shay has got to be completely exhausted. Now back in to another sleeper hold. Buff-Shay gets to the ropes, still forced to break that rear naked choke, but not forced to stop the offensive attack that Buff-Shay is suffering. Speaking of suffering, in comes the man who loves to make others suffer more than anything else. A man who has strengthened his craft in the forest with an axe and chainsaw. The lumberjack, Mr. Lucas, sledding Buff-Shay into the turnbuckle. And like a felled conifer, down goes Buff-Shay. Lucas feeling extremely good about what he's been able to accomplish thus far. Now bringing Buff-Shay up to his feet. Looking for that vicious suplex that he tried once before, but Buff-Shay, goodness sakes alive! Able to turn the tables. What a feat! Both men completely exhausted. Grasping for a tag. Buff-Shay gets it. So too does Mr. Lucas. Tejaka and Cutting come in. And down goes Buff-Shay with two big chops in a row from Tejaka. Tejaka tags in Smith. Smith lining up, cutting. And folks, it's no! Oh my gosh! Raking the upper palate of Smith, cutting, passes him off to Mr. Lucas, and Mr. Lucas puts him down. That short burst of momentum the Smith team had was abruptly cut off by the lumberjack, and cutting looking to cut out the last vestiges of hope with the anxiety attack. Goes for the cover, 2, and that's it, folks. The Butcher Shop comes away with the W.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners, the Butcher Shop.
Folks, before we leave you tonight, I'm being told that Harvey has called a meeting with his client Tom Chad and Misi the Tongan Lion. Let's go backstage.
Listen, Tom, you can't get this juice open.
Hey, Tom. Hey, man, I was just sitting over there. I just wondered, are you sharing that lunch bowl with anybody?
It was for my kids, but I think I'm gonna eat it today. Come on, guys. There's a reason you're here, Misi.
Okay, what's up?
Tom, you and Misi, both of them, well, you fought against each other. You don't really appreciate each other, but you don't not like each other, right?
That's fair. Yeah, acquaintances.
We're all right. Now, what I want to do is I want to put you two together against the prophets of destruction. Can we handle this?
Harvey, I'm having a harder time opening my juice box than I will be beating the crap out of the prophets. What's going on here? Oh, stupid hair! You're gonna learn one way or the other.
Now I will kill you.